and welcome back to another live session here at ODA Class. Kids, my name is Mitali and today I will be teaching you all there is to know about the future tense. If you want to know about the other tenses, students, I have done videos on the past as well as the present tense previously, so you can go back and check those videos out. And before we jump into the future tense, let me take this chance to introduce myself as well as ODA Class. Starting off with ODA Class, students, as you can see, ODA Class is a live learning app where you get to come on the app and talk to us teachers in real time, have your questions answered in real time. And students, we are a group of teachers who have learned from IIT and NIT alike. And to help you with your education, we have made a course for you which is called the Crash Course. Now, the Crash Course is going to be starting on Monday and it's going to be a week-long program. So from Monday to Saturday, you'll have class every day. And out of these 6 students, you'll have 3 maths as well as 3 science classes. Now, these will all be conducted by our group of master teachers like myself. But apart from us, you have access to one more teacher who is going to be your personal mentor teacher. Now, your personal teacher is going to be helping you throughout the week, guiding you throughout the week, helping you with any questions that you might have in class, outside of class, during the homework, or in the tests that we provide to you on the app, or in the books and the modules that you will use for extra reference. At any time, if you have a doubt, you just reach out to your mentor teacher and they'll be there to help you out. To enroll in this crash course, students, you can simply click on the link in the description box below and enroll for rupees 29, 49, 99 or 149 depending on your grade. I'll tell you a little bit more about this at the end of the video as well. But for now, let me move on and introduce myself. So kids, like I said, my name is Mitali Joshi. You can call me Mitali ma'am. I graduated from Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, and I am currently an English master teacher here at ODA. Like I said, students, I'll be teaching you about the future tense today, and here are the contents of today's lecture. We will start off with our simple future tense, right? We will learn about the rules, usage, examples, and of course, lots of questions, students. We learn about future continuous, future present, and future present continuous. Starting off with, first of all, what exactly are tenses, students? So as we know, tenses are what we use to talk about the past, the present, and the future, right? So the tense of the sentence tells us about the time of the action that is being performed in the sentence. Now, the future tense, students, as it stands, is used to talk about things or events that have not happened yet, right? So the present is for what's happening right now. Past is for what has already happened, and the future is for what hasn't happened yet, but is going to happen in the coming times. So for example, I will come to your house tomorrow. Now this word tomorrow, students, is a very clear and a very obvious indicator that our sentence is in the future tense. Because as we know, right, tomorrow is the day that is going to come after today. So this is something that we don't know anything about. So anything that happens tomorrow is going to be in the future tense. Alright? Anything that happens next month or next year is also going to be in the future tense. So now let's do a very simple question, students, and let's try to identify future tense. What do you think? I went to the beach with my family last weekend. Do you think that this sentence is in the future tense, kids? I went to the beach with my family last weekend. So kids, this sentence is actually not in the future tense, right? And how do we know that? Because of these words last weekend, right? Last weekend indicates to us that we are talking about the weekend that has already gone by, which means we are talking about an action that has already happened, which means that this is actually in the past tense, right? And once we learn that, we can also identify that went, right, is the past form of the verb go. So here we have a sentence, students, which is clearly not in the future tense. Let's take one more question. If I say, I am studying for my test, do you think that this sentence is in the future tense? I am studying for my test. Students, once again, this sentence is not in the future tense, correct? I am studying for my test. This is happening right now, which means the sentence is in the present tense, not in the future tense. Okay, so now that students, the future tense is clear to all of you. Remember that the future tense is used for actions that will happen in the future, right? Things that have not happened yet. So let's learn about the types of our future tense. Like I said, kids, we will learn about the simple future tense, the future perfect continuous, future perfect, as well as future continuous. Okay. Now, starting off, students, of course, with our simple future tense, as the name suggests, it is very simple and straightforward. So, we use the simple future tense, students, for events that will take place sometime in the future. That is it, right? So, for example, I will drink black coffee tomorrow. I will come over to your house tomorrow, right? This is an action that has not started yet. It is going to happen in the future and it's going to get over as well. So, for example, I will drink black coffee tomorrow. I will do a video on the past tense tomorrow. But that's not true, students. I have already taught you about the past tense. Like I said, if you have any doubts relating to the past tense or the present tense, kids, you can go back to the previous video and take a look at it. But for now, like I said, we will learn about the tense itself, followed by the rules that we follow to form sentences in that tense. So starting off in the simple future tense, students, for simple assertive or declarative sentences, what do? We use our subject followed by one of these two verbs, okay, either shall or will. Now kids, I also talked about these verbs, right? These are called modal verbs, and I have talked a lot about modal verbs in a couple of previous videos. So you can go check those out if you want to learn more about modal verbs and their uses. But here is the very simple formula: subject followed by shall or will, followed by the first form of the verb and the object. Very simple, right? I will attend the lecture on Monday. So we have our subject, right? We have our helping verb will. We have our first form of the verb attend, followed by this entire object, the lecture on Monday. Alright. Now something interesting happens when we form the negative and when we form the interrogative. Let's start with the negative, students. You all know how to make negatives of simple sentences. We simply use the word not. Now the only thing to remember when it comes to negating sentences is where do we put the not? And remember kids, we will put the not between our helping verb, shall or will, and our action verb, right, which is our verb 1, which is the present participle of the verb. So for example, we will not attend the lecture on Monday. What am I saying, students? We will. Subject, will, not, and then we have our excuse me, action verb, attend. Now, once again, like I said, we flip it over a little bit when it comes to the interrogative sentences. I hope you all remember, students, that interrogative sentences are simply questions. And when we are making questions, we have to change it a little bit, right? The subject will come after the helping verb. So we'll start with shall or will, followed by our subject and then our verb and our object. So here we have an example. Shall they attend the lecture on Monday? We have our helping verb first, shall or will, followed by the subject, the verb, and then our object. Students, I hope this is clear to you all. These are the three very simple rules for forming our three types of sentences in the simple future tense. And kids, now let's learn about when do we use the simple future tense. Like I said, we simply use it to talk about things that haven't happened yet, and specifically about things that we cannot control, right? So for example, I shall be 23 next Wednesday. So it's my birthday next Wednesday. I can't control that, right? I cannot change that. That's why I use the simple future tense here. This thing is bound to happen. It is inevitable. It cannot be controlled. That's why I use the simple future tense. So now students, let's do some questions, right? Let's learn how to form these sentences in the simple future tense. Starting off with the first one. My birthday blank on a Wednesday this year. If I want to use the simple future tense, tell me kids, how will I fill in this sentence? My birthday blank on a Wednesday this year. So we use, remember students, we use our subject shall or will followed by our verb. So we say my birthday will fall on a Wednesday this year. Students, remember our rules, right? They will really help you out throughout the quizzes in today's class. So I hope that you are all making notes of these rules. Okay, here's your next question for this class, students. Tell me what is the answer here. I blank you when you need it. And the action verb to be used here, students, is help. I blank you when you need it. And very well done here, students. The correct answer is going to be I will help you when you need it. Right? Once again, simple future tense. Remember, subject for the assertive or declarative sentences. We use our subject followed by shall or will, followed by V1 and then our object. So now kids, I hope this is all clear to you, because we are going to move on to our next tense, which is the future continuous tense. Now we all remember, students, about the continuous tenses, right? We use continuous tenses to talk about ongoing actions, things that are happening in the present. But we use our future continuous tense that will be in progress, right? This action will be ongoing, but at a time in the upcoming future. So we talk about this, we use this tense when we are talking about an action that will be ongoing at a point in the future. For example, I will be attending the crash course on Monday. So this, students, here we have our continuity, right? I will be attending. And also, what are we doing, students? On Monday, which means it is in the future. That's why I use the future continuous tense here. Okay. Now notice here we have said will be attending, which means that we are using an extra word when it comes to the future continuous tense, right? In our simple future, we had our subject followed by shall or will, followed by the verb directly. But in the future continuous tense, students, it changes just a little bit. We use our subject followed by shall or will, followed by this verb be, and then we use the ing form of the verb to show this continuous, right? So for example, I will be covering this news. Subject will be ing form followed by the object. Okay, I will be covering this news. This action is going to happen in the future, but it is going to be ongoing at that point in the future. That's why I use my future continuous tense. Moving on, students, when it comes to our negatives, similarly, same as last time, okay, we follow the same rule. So we use the word not followed just after our helping verb. So we follow the helping verb with the word not. So we have our subject followed by shall or will, followed by not, and then we have be and then the verb ing form. So for example, we will not be meeting on Sundays. Subject will not be, then the ing form. And students, lastly, what happens when we make questions? How do we form or how do we use this tense in our interrogative sentences? Fairly simple. Once again, students, we use our shall or will, just like with our simple future tense, followed by the subject, followed by be, verb ing form, and then our object. Okay, so for example, shall we be meeting on Sundays? We have our helping verb shall, followed by the subject we, then we have be, and then we have ing form of the verb, and then our object. And here is when we use it, students. Like I said, we use it to talk about an action that will take place in the future, and it will be ongoing at that point in the future. So for example, I think I will be watching the show live tonight. Tonight, so this is in the future tense, and this action is going to be ongoing at that point in time. That's why I use the future continuous tense. Now kids, remember that we also use it to talk about things that have already been planned, okay? To talk about an event or an action that has been pre-planned. So for example, the plumber will be coming to our house soon. This has already been planned, correct? The visit, the plumber's visit has already been planned. That's why I use the future continuous tense. So remember, two uses of the future continuous tense. Number one, ongoing action in the future. Number two, already planned future actions, okay? Or definite future plans. Okay students, lots of learning. Now let's try some quizzes. Tell me, how will I form this sentence? My friends blank our football team this week. And the action word to be used is join. Tell me kids, how should I form this sentence? We will use the same rule, correct? My friends will be joining our football team this week. Subject will be ing form followed by our object. Is this clear to you all students? I hope that it is, because here is the next question. Okay, I blank to the party this Sunday. Now, here is the action word to be used, come. And students, I have also mentioned that I want you to make this a negative statement. I want you to negate this sentence. So how will we do that? Try to figure it out, students. Now, here kids, I will say, I will not be coming. Remember, subject followed by the helping verb, followed by not, then be, and then the ing form. Kids, this might be a little bit confusing to you, but don't worry. With lots of practice, you will be able to ace this concept as well. Okay? So that's what we have for the future continuous tense, students. And so now, let's move on to our next type of tense, which is going to be here. Next quiz. Tell me kids, I blank at the library all night. I blank at the library all night. So once again students, this is something that's going to happen in the future. It is going to be an ongoing action once we get to that. So the correct answer here will be, I will be studying at the library all night. Okay, once again students, don't forget, helping verb followed by be followed by the ing form. Now, like I said, moving on to our next tense students, we have the future perfect tense. Now, the perfect tenses, students, are often very confusing. So, pay attention here, take notes, and if you have doubts, we are here to help you. So, we use the future perfect tense, students, to talk about an action that will be completed. Okay, it will be completed at a certain time in the future. Okay, remember, we use the perfect tense, the future perfect tense in particular, to talk about actions that will be completed by a certain point in the future. Let's take an example to understand this, students, right? We will have done our homework by Monday. So students, notice, we will have done our homework by Monday. This is not the most straightforward one, students, so pay attention here. What are we learning? First of all, we have our subject, right, in the assertive, in the declarative sentences. Subject followed by shall or will, followed by have, okay. So we use shall or will along with have, and then we use the third form of our verb followed by the object. So we will have done our homework by Monday. And I'm sure that you can guess by now, students, what happens when we negate this sentence? Where will we put our negation word not? As you might have guessed, students, we will use the word not after our helping verb, same as our first few tenses, right? So, we will get, we will not have done our homework by Monday. Alright? Just put the word not between your helping verb, shall or will, and the next verb, which is have. Alright? Every single time, students, we simply have to use will not have or shall not have. Then what happens when we have to form a question in this tense? Once again, students, remember, we have to flip the position excuse me, of certain parts here. So just like in our other interrogative sentences, our shall or will come before the subject, shall or will, followed by our subject, followed by have, verb 3 and then the object. So for example, will we have done our homework by Monday? Question mark. Will we have done our homework by Monday? Question mark. We don't know, right? But once again, we are asking, right? We are asking if this action will be completed at a certain point in the future. Remember, this is the most important thing to remember about our future perfect tense, students, which is that we always use it to talk about actions that will definitely be completed at a certain point in the future. Except in questions where we are asking if this action will be completed by that point in the future. It's time for a couple of quizzes. Once again, students, tell me, how should I form this sentence? The rain blank by tomorrow morning. The action word to be used here is stop. Remember, kids, that we use will or shall, followed by have, followed by the third form of the verb. So, in this case, the rain will have stopped by tomorrow morning. Remember, the most important thing here, students, is that we must use our verb 3, okay? We will always use the third form of the verb in the future perfect tense. And also, we will always use will or shall followed by have. This is the special thing about a future perfect tense, right? We always have to use this extra helping verb, which is have. Okay, let's try one more quiz now, students. Tell me, they blank the letter by the time I reach the office. And the action to be used here, students, is write. They blank the letter by the time I reach the office. So, now students, we already have learned this, right? We know that in this sentence, we have to start subject. After the subject, we have to start with either shall or will. So, let's try with will. They will followed by have and then verb 3. What is verb 3 of write, students? It is written. So, this sentence becomes, they will have written the letter by the time I reach the office. Okay, is this clear to you all, students? We have our helping verb will or shall, followed by helping verb have, followed by verb 3, followed by our object. So now, students, this brings us to our fourth and our last type of future tense, which is our future perfect continuous tense. Now, tense number 2 that we learned about today was future continuous. Tense number 3 was future perfect. Now, students, let's put both of these things together, right? Future perfect continuous. Remember, kids, continuous is for an ongoing action, correct? Or for definite future plans. Perfect is for actions that will be completed at a certain point in the future. Now, the future perfect continuous simply joins both of these, right? So, when we have our future perfect continuous tense, we use it for actions that will be in progress over a period of time in the future and which will also end in the future, okay? So, they end in the future, that gives us our perfect tick mark, and they will be ongoing in the future as well, which gives the tick mark for continuous. That's why this tense is called the future perfect continuous tense. And now, students, this is probably the most confusing of the tenses, right? Because we have to combine, even in our rules, we have to combine the rule for perfect as well as continuous. So, pay attention here, students, make notes, and let's take a look at it. As far as assertive sentences or declarative sentences go, we have the same form, right? We always start with the subject followed by shall or will. Now, here comes the perfect part, right? We have this word have which gives part of the perfect. And then we also have been followed by the ing form. Okay, so this is a little bit trickier, students. Remember that when we use the future continuous tense, right, I will be studying, so we use the word be, and we also use the ing form. For perfect, we use the word have. So here, students, we have to combine that. Okay, remember, in the perfect we used have with verb 3. Now when it's continuous, we can't use verb 3, correct? That's why, students, we use the verb been instead of be. Once again, let's take a look at this, students. We have our subject, shall or will, which is simply the key for the future tense. Then we have the verb have, which gives credit to our perfect. Then we have been, right, which helps us combine our perfect plus our continuous, because it takes into account the verb 3 form of the perfect. And lastly, then we have our ing form, which gives credit to our continuous tense. So for example, I will have been attending my felicitation ceremony on Monday. Okay, this action will happen in the future, it will be ongoing in the future, and it will end in the future itself. I will have been attending my felicitation ceremony on Monday. Now, I am sure, students, that you can guess where we'll be putting the verb not, but you might also be wrong here. So I'm sure some of you would guess that we need to put the verb not right here, right, after the helping verb, like in all of our previous cases. But that's not true, students. When we negate our sentence, we have to put not after have. Okay, I will not have been teaching for 20 years the next July. Will not have been. Alright, so remember, helping verb followed by not followed by have. I will not have been teaching for 20 years next July. So we have our shall or will, then we have the subject followed by have, been, ing when it comes to our interrogative sentences. And students, here are our uses for the future perfect continuous tense. Like I said, we use this tense to show actions which will be in progress. Okay, so continuous but in the future, over a period of time, and that will end in the future. So for example, by next Monday, I will have been watering my plants for 4 years. Notice, subject followed by will, followed by have, been, and then the ing form of the verb. I hope this is clear to you all, kids, because next, as always, I have a quiz for you. I blank in India for 10 years by 2025. I blank in India for 10 years by 2025. What is the correct answer here, students? Remember, we always follow that by either shall or will. For the future perfect continuous tense, the next thing to do is have, been, ing. So for example here, I will have been living in India for 10 years by 2025. I hope this is all clear to you, students. I will have been living. I will give you one more turn, okay? Let's try, students. At 5 o'clock, I blank for 45 minutes. And the action word to be used here is wait. Tell me, kids, follow the same formula that we just used for our future perfect continuous tense and tell me the answer here. At 5 o'clock, I will have been waiting. Remember, we always start with shall or will, followed by have been, and then the ing form of the verb. Students, I hope this is all clear to you. Let's quickly summarize all that we have learned today. Right? We learned about 4 types of the future tense: simple future, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. Students, here is a table that will help you with the formulas for all of them. As we learned in the simple future, subject, will, verb 1, object. Future continuous, subject will be ing form followed by the object. In the future perfect, right, we have the subject followed by will have. And then students, remember, we always use the third form of the verb, right? And then the object. And lastly, our future perfect continuous tense, where we have our subject, will have been, and then the ing form followed by the object. Kids, I hope this is clear to you all and you've had fun learning with me today, because let me bring you back once again to our crash course. Like I said, it is a week-long program that is starting on Monday, and during this week you'll have 3 maths as well as 3 science classes conducted by us master teachers, and along with us you have your own personal mentor teacher who's going to guide you throughout the week, whether it's doubts in the class, homework, tests, or the books and the modules. Alright, like I said, to enroll in this course, you can simply click on the link in the description box below and enroll for Rs 29, 49, 99 or 149 depending on your grade. Now, I know you've been answering my questions and have been having fun, but the best part, or one of the best parts about the program, students, is that when you answer quizzes on the ODA app, you get rewarded. So you win coins for answering the quizzes correctly and also for developing these good habits. So what do you do with these coins? Once you have collected enough of them, you can go to the ODA mall and redeem them. You can get a smartphone, a smart water bottle, etc. And students, if you have liked this video, if you have enjoyed studying with me, please like and share this video, and you can also subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you all, students. I hope to see you in the crash course. Bye.